I never know how to start these things. First off, thank you, everybody. Everybody who subscribed, everyone who's commented, everyone who asked questions for this video. Thank you so much. I wanted to do something a little more personal once I hit 10,000 subscribers, just so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I can get to know you, like hopefully we'll talk in the comments about stuff that I say here, and you're like, oh hey, I like that too, or hey, that's awful, why do you like that? First up, breathing human person who's commented on a bunch of things. Thank you, breathing human person. I'm really curious about your singing progress, when you started, why you started, tips you would give to a beginner. Oh, and also your all-time favorite song. So I'd just like to preface this with anytime someone asks a favorite thing, I'm awful at choosing one thing. It's almost always gonna be more than one thing. So first off, I guess with singing progress, I started singing as a kid, but I was terrified to ever sing in front of anybody until I was in 5th grade. My mom had bought me the Sarah Bareilles album, Little Voice, and I loved it, and I still love it to this day, and it's a no-skip album for me. The last song on the album is Gravity, which is now a pretty famous song of hers. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I remember being in the car with my mom one day and being like, hey, I think I want to do the talent show at school, and I think I want to sing a song from the Sarah Bareilles album. And my mom was like, what? You never sing in front of any of us, like, you're so shy. She wanted me to be less shy. So I sang the song in the car for her, and she was just like, oh my god, like, I can't believe you sang in front of me. Like, you should do the talent show. It sounds like a lot of fun. Little secret, I had done the talent show in 4th grade and sang super, super quietly. I sang Reflection from Mulan, but no one remembers that I did it because it was so just like super shy girl, like hardly singing at all. So everyone just pretends that was not my first time on stage. The 5th grade talent show, when I sang Gravity, everyone remembers that as my first time singing in front of people, and like, really it was my first time using my real voice in front of anybody. After that, I started going once a week to this voice teacher for about a year. I didn't take private voice lessons ever after that. It was just that 1 year of private voice lessons. But since then I would do like group voice lessons, group classes and things. I think this has come up a couple times. Tips I would give a beginner is absolutely, whether it's in private, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly, like however frequently or infrequently you want to do it, or if it's privately or in a group, definitely see a vocal coach for getting those foundations of singing. I really would not recommend what I do now, which is work on my voice myself, but I'm pretty in tune with kind of what works and what doesn't, and I'm always constantly working on it and really paying attention to it because I know what to pay attention to. But if you're just starting to learn how to sing by yourself, you may not know kind of what to look for, in your body of something that may be possibly harmful. And I don't usually give a ton of tips because I don't want to give any tips that could potentially hurt your voice. So my biggest tip is, see someone who does know voices and then can learn your voice and help you get the foundation. Then, if you want to work on stuff yourself, you can have some confidence in the fact that you probably won't hurt yourself. You probably won't do anything super harmful for your voice. And my all-time favorite song, there's 3 that kind of came to mind for 3 different reasons. For a song that's just like, I can put on and it instantly makes me feel better. It's a song where no matter what season I'm in, I always put it on and I'm like, oh, this is such a fall song, or this is such a spring song. So it's really just an anytime song for me. But it's Death with Dignity by Sufjan Stevens. It feels very cozy to me. I don't even know all the words, it's just very cozy to me, very cozy vibes. Second, there's this one line that always sticks out to me, so I always say this is my favorite song because of this line. and that's City by Sarah Bareilles. And the line in it that I really like, these boys only listen to me when I sing, and I don't feel like singing tonight. I don't, that line always stuck with me. Musically, absolutely, my favorite song is When Your Mind's Made Up from Once. They're not even singing words anymore, they're just singing like oohs and ahs and woes, but the harmonies are just gorgeous, and they're so emotionally invested in what they're singing. It's just beautiful. Those are my 3 favorites. I cheated. Nathaniel Sidman asks, what's your favorite cover you've ever done? And this one really stumped me. Whatever I say now will probably change in a year. I think my favorite is probably Goodbye. That's one that was really kind of near and dear to me to do. And the fact that that's the one that recently has gotten so many views makes me so happy, because very often people will make things that kind of put their heart into that then no one will really watch, but the thing they just threw together is the thing that blows up. That's one that I was really happy that I really cared about. And there's things wrong with it that I would fix, but I'm very happy with that one. I think that's my favorite one I've done lately. MSK asks, what's your favorite Disney movie and who's your favorite princess and why? And again, I cannot pick one. My favorite movie and my favorite princesses kind of go hand in hand, because I love just everything about each of these movies and their main characters. So my favorite princesses are Belle and Rapunzel. I love their spirit, I love their attitude, I love their outlook on life. I've related to Belle my whole life. I keep spinning. Whoopsies. I keep spinning. I love Belle and Rapunzel so much. So of course I love Beauty and the Beast, and I love Tangled. Love Flynn Rider. I love that Beauty and the Beast feels like a cohesive unit. Tangled's the same kind of way, that's just absolutely gorgeous. Everything comes together so perfectly. I love the villain songs in both movies. They're just fun to sing and just, those are my favorites. Red Jewel asks, how long does it take to memorize the chords on the piano? It depends on each song. For something like Look Who's Inside Again, when it's truly just, 4 chords for the verse and then 4 different chords for the chorus, and it's not a difficult pattern for chords, that took less than 5 minutes. You either listen and figure out the chords, or you look up the tabs or something. That takes 0 time. For a song like Goodbye though, it's a little more involved. It's not just simple chords. I started learning it on one night after work, and then I recorded it. I finished learning it and recorded it the next night. So that took me a couple hours, just because it wasn't just following chords, it was like full-on sheet music. I used to be a lot quicker when I played piano, a lot more frequently. That's totally gone. I need to get that skill back. Honeymoon asks, when's your birthday? My birthday is February 12th, 1997, so I'm right on that cusp of millennial Gen Z, who the hell knows what I am. I'm not really into astrology, but for those of you who are, I'm an Aquarius. Do with that what you will. No idea what it means. Banana Elf, who comments on so many things, so thank you Banana Elf, I always smile when I see your comments. They ask, how long does vocal editing take you depending on the project, but especially the bigger ones? What do you do for a living, and why not YouTube? I know you've answered this before, but still. Ideally, if I record something on a Saturday, I start working on it immediately for a couple hours. Super ideally, I like to have a rough cut that I then put on my phone and I drive around in my car and I listen to it so I can hear it on like different speakers and hear levels and things. Just like a regular cover song probably takes about 8 hours, ideally, though I can do it quicker, but I never end up super happy with how I've edited it if I do it quicker. And then for something that's like a big group collab or it's a big medley, I don't know how many hours, depending how kind of pushed for time I am. I mean, I have things I've been working on for over a year, because I just kind of forget about it and, push it to the side and come back to it, that I probably have so far 30 hours in it, but I'm making an instrumental for it, so that takes a lot of the time. It's probably more than that since it's been over a year, but it ranges, usually a couple days. What do I do for a living, and why not YouTube? I'm in marketing. I work with a small company, so sort of marketing is like the last of my roles. I kind of do like a little bit of everything all of the time. I sort of work in like course development and online learning as well as part of that, and social media management and sort of like brand management. I really like it. It's a lot of fun getting to do a lot of different things and wear a lot of different hats at my job. Why it's not YouTube though, when I start thinking about YouTube as a job, I think I need to be more than what I am. I personally have the most fun on YouTube when I post things that just I enjoyed making. Like last week, or I guess it's 2 weeks ago at this point, when I did my Civil Wars cover. That's a song that came out like in the mid-2000s. It wasn't big then, it's not big now, people aren't looking for it. And if I was treating YouTube like a job, that's not something that would ever get posted. And I'd get stuck constantly trying to stay up on what's something people will look for, rather than something I just enjoy making. And I find when I push myself to make things that are current or things people will look for, I just feel like slimy. I feel disingenuous. It sounds so stressful to have to rely on, you know, making something that will kind of go viral in order to keep your job, which is, you know, so fickle. It's so depending on the algorithm and, you know, what people are looking for and what people are interested in, and it's just, it's very stressful to me. I just had dinner, so I have a new drink. Emily Harmon asks, what vocal range do you usually fall under? I am a mezzo-soprano.
What are you? Aren't you a soprano? You're a good boy.
If I butcher anybody's name, I'm so sorry. Please correct me in the comments. I don't want to mess up anyone's name. Nakul Raj, I hope I said your name right. Nakul Raj says, what's your favorite memory associated with singing or making videos on YouTube? Also, congrats on 10,000. Thank you. My favorite memory associated with singing is probably 2. The things that come to mind are my last semester of college. I did a musical that's a musical I've wanted to do for like, at this point, 10 years, at that point like 7 or 8 years. So getting to do that show, favorite singing memory, I love all the music in that show, so that was amazing. The other one is, they used to have this thing at Disney World called the American Idol Experience, where you would go and audition, like you'd just be in the parks and go through like 2 rounds of auditions, and then they put you on one of the shows in the day. And getting to see all the kind of backstage stuff that goes into putting on a show like that, that was I did that a couple times, and so each of those memories was really fun. But as for my favorite memory associated with YouTube, I feel like I have to say when Burnham commented on my Are You Happy cover, which is also, it's like one of my worst covers I think I've done on this channel, but when it had like 300 views, he commented on it. That was so cool. Oh my gosh, again, I really hope I'm saying your name right. Doga Tekken asks, what excites you other than music? I get really excited about reading. I get really excited as soon as I finish a book that really leaves me thinking. The first thing I want to do is like talk to people about it and explain why I'm still thinking about it and what happened in the book. Video games get me really excited. Anything having to do with The Last of Us gets me really excited. I'm usually not into any big shows or anything. I'm a really bad TV show watcher. But recently, my boyfriend and I started watching What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu, and it's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Highly recommend What We Do in the Shadows. And I've also just started watching Gilmore Girls, and I get really excited to watch Gilmore Girls now. Nicholas Mullen, who is someone who's been here like since the beginning and comments on almost every one of my videos, and it always makes me happy to see his comments. He asks, what made you start making more videos? For several years, the uploads were quite sparse and the subscriber number quite constant. Very true. It all comes down to just mental health, really, and just being in a better headspace to do this. Every other time I tried to kind of get back into YouTube, I just was really self-conscious about making them and was really overwhelmed about making them, and it felt like a job. It didn't feel like I was doing it for me and for fun. Also, if you can hear chewing, that's my dog chewing on a toy right under me. Hi, you can keep chewing. So lately it's just been, I finally have found a what makes me happy with YouTube videos again. And now it's just, even if no one else watches it, I like what I made. I love your username. Asks, do you feel like most people are subbed for the Burnham content and will be disappointed in future uploads? Tips for getting better at singing. And my last question, why'd you start to upload more after almost radio silence before Burnham Inside? I kind of answered why'd you start to upload more after radio silence. It's better mental health, better headspace, doing it for the right reasons. Tips for getting better at singing, I answered earlier. I would see someone who knows what they're doing, however often you care to, and build that foundation and then work on it. I feel like most people are subbed for the Bo Burnham content and will be disappointed in future uploads. I know that many people are subscribed for the Bo Burnham stuff. Those are the things that have consistently gotten the most views recently, by far. That's what people subscribe for and they want to see. And so I absolutely think there are people who just have no interest in what I post other than Bo Burnham stuff, and that's totally fine. That doesn't bug me at all. Because I mean, we all do it. I have so many people I'm subscribed to where I watched like 1 or 2 of their videos that dealt with a certain thing. And so I subscribe to them because I don't want to forget about them, and I don't want to lose them, and I want to support them. But then I don't watch like any of their other stuff. And so it's just, you know, it's normal. I mean, I've already had kind of experience with this, where in high school I posted a lot of Frozen covers and got a huge subscriber bump from that. But my reaction to that, and the first time, was, okay, I can't post anything other than Frozen stuff. I have to become the Frozen girl. No one will watch anything else. And then it becomes a thing where I stop enjoying what I'm making. So I don't want to just limit myself to Bo Burnham covers because I know people will watch them. I want to do the Bo Burnham covers that I just like doing. I want to make stuff that I enjoy making, and I hope people like watching it. But if they don't, and they're just here for Bo Burnham stuff, that's not a problem. Mr. Sandubs asks, how are you? And this made me smile when I saw it. I'm good. I'm doing well. I feel pretty good. Thank you for asking. Following right up with that, Frosty asks, are you happy? Had to make the joke, but anyways, also, yeah, I am happy. On a scale of 1 to 0, I'm a 1. But anyways, is music your passion, and have you written many original songs? And if so, how do you write the lyrics? I feel like my passion lies in like my family and my loved ones. I think that's the thing that's driven me the most in my life, is kind of my closeness to people I love. But in terms of hobbies, absolutely singing is my most passionate hobby. Have you written many original songs, and if so, how do you write the lyrics? I am not really a songwriter. I'm sure if I tried more, I could get better at it. I haven't really tried. So I don't really have a process, you know, to tell you about lyrics or anything. Mostly when I've tried, I think it's kind of been in tandem, music and lyrics. Probably more music first. I have not tried to write a song since 2017, I think. It's not something I've really tried much. JNC asks, what app did you use to use vocal editing, and how long does it usually take? Love your covers, by the way. Thank you. I usually record into Logic Pro X. I edit in Logic. As I said earlier, editing usually, ideally takes me a couple days. It probably is like 8 to 10 hours total of work. If I had to guess, Giovanni Luciano Severi, I hope I said that right, says, would you be my friend? With little, would you be my friend? Yes, I will be your friend. We've talked a couple times on Instagram, Giovanni, so I know who you are. Not in a creepy way. You sent me, you were like, this is my YouTube channel, so this is me. So I have kind of a name to a face. But yes, hello, we can be friends. The Olive asks, can't really think of anything that's like big, but what do you think is a musical that's underrated or one that is a bit overrated? We were just talking about this in the car coming back from my work trip. Absolutely one that's underrated is Once. Once is one of my absolute favorite shows of all time. I think it's so underappreciated. I think it's hard to kind of do local productions of it so people don't get to see it as much, but it's absolutely the most underrated musical in my opinion. I think it's so underrated. Yes, it won a Tony. It deserved it. I had a friend who was like, Newsies should have won the Tony. It should not have. Overrated though? I mean, I think Phantom of the Opera is kind of overrated, but I don't like actively dislike it. I mean, I think it's fine. Phantom and Cats I feel like are the obvious ones. Like, I think Cats is overrated. It's just weird. My kind of opinion on this, and this is gonna be weird, let me explain it. Not the show itself, but the impact kind of that it's had. I think Hamilton is a little overrated. I've seen Hamilton 3 times. Anytime I do watch something from it or hear something from it, I end up watching or listening to the whole show. I think it's fantastic, but I don't really like how everything now gets talked about as like the new Hamilton, the next Hamilton. Movies will have random rapping bits that were so clearly inspired by Hamilton. Amazon Cinderella did not need those rapping bits. I love Hamilton. I think the impact it's had on other things is overrated. That's my controversial opinion. Alicia Bronsford asks, what's a song you really want to cover but you consider too difficult? Into the Unknown is a song I've tried to cover for like almost 2 years now, and I can do it. It's not that I can't hit the notes, but I don't like my placement of the notes. I'm trying to find like the perfect consistent placement for it, but that's a song that I've tried to do. I find it very difficult just because of the jumps and the placement for that vowel sound. So far I have not. I've struggled with that one a lot. Linda W has 2 questions. She says, how long does it take you to learn a new piece, and how did you first become a fan of Bo Burnham? What was your journey like? I'm so happy someone asked this. First off, how long does it take you to learn a new piece? As I said a little bit earlier, it depends, but how did you first become a fan of Bo Burnham? I was first introduced to Bo Burnham by my friend Tina when I was in 8th grade. I was over at her house one day, and she was like, you've got to see this YouTube video. And she showed me the music video for High School Party, and my whole life was changed. I immediately went down a rabbit hole, watched every single YouTube video he had posted, listened to I'm Bo-Yo on repeat, listened to the Bo Burnham album. I think Words hadn't come out yet, or like it was just about to come out, like just coming out. And so Words was, you know, like I knew every single word of Words, like the whole special. Those couple years of kind of middle and high school, obsessed. I have his poetry book, Egghead. I saw him live twice. I was supposed to see him 4 times, and 2 times I couldn't go. But I saw him twice. I met him once. I've been meaning to hang this up. I have a couple signed things from him, but when I met him the first time, I got his signature on this picture that I photoshopped that says Isabel above, because I saw this B&O store sign and I was like, oh, it looks like A and Bo. I'll put Isabel on top of it. And so he signed it when I met him, and he's very nice, and I got a picture with him. And then on one of the times I was supposed to go and I couldn't go, the intro where he throws the deck of cards out in the audience, and so my friend picked up one of the cards because they were thrown right at him and got him to sign this for me and brought it to me. I've loved Bo Burnham for like 10, 11 years. I've been kind of following along. That's been my Bo Burnham journey. Darkmoon188 says, what do you do to creatively express yourself? Is it singing or piano, or do you have another method? I think singing is where I kind of feel most creative. I used to be really into drawing, and that used to be kind of an escape for me, and I used to be into writing. Neither of those things are really things I do anymore. I think I've kind of swapped those for reading. I really like editing. I really find editing very freeing and very fun. I like having a challenge of trying to figure out how to edit something. Like when my camera dies, and that presents a new challenge of kind of what do you do with that empty space. I like that. I really like video editing like that. So I think editing and singing are kind of where I get most creative currently. I'm so sorry for butchering your name. D.A. Patel says, this made me laugh, so I had to address it. They said, I'm a 19-year-old Indian guy, would you date me? Very sorry to say, I am happily partnered up. I've been with my boyfriend for almost 7 years now, so sorry I had to decline your offer. I believe it's Eusebian Eldis Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm very sorry. I believe it's Eusabian Elvis. How do you balance your time interacting with a virtual community, and does it ever overwhelm you? I really try to write back to every comment I get because they're all so nice. Usually what I do is every couple days I'll sit down on my computer and I'll go to Creator Studio, like and write back to everybody's comments, kind of like in a time, so that I'm not responding every time I see one, but like in a set time. If I let it go further, I think it would, I mean, if I hadn't responded to any of the comments until now, it would be absolutely overwhelming. It would be so hard to write back to people, and I want to write back to people. I've had some really good conversations with people. Just know if I have given your comment or your reply a heart, then I've absolutely seen it and I've read it. Usually if I haven't, then I may have gotten lost in the shuffle. Usually if I've seen a comment, I give it a heart. Please, I hope I don't butcher your name. It's Jao Paulo Moro Pinto. They asked, what is the best Bo Burnham song? And I struggle with this one. I guess it's like 3 are the ones that come to my head. I think of Can't Handle This because it's just, it's funny and then really, kind of deep, and just I think it's fantastic. I think Words is absolutely fantastic and witty, and it's got great wordplay. And I think Goodbye, I mean, in terms of tying everything together from a special with a good bow on top but still being a good song on its own, I think Goodbye is absolutely fantastic. ADF 435 says, will you do All Eyes on Me by Bo Burnham? One I've said I've been slowly working on since like July or maybe even June at this point. I will do it. It makes me nervous. I'm trying to think of, how visually to do it, and I need to make an instrumental for it, but I will do it. I don't know how soon because it's one that I am very nervous about tackling and I really want to take my time on it. So someday, All Eyes on Me is coming. I really hope I'm saying this right. Mampuya? I'm so sorry. They said, do you play games? If so, what are your favorites? Yes, favorite games of all time are The Last of Us. I also liked The Last of Us Part 2. Controversial opinion. I was really mad at it at first, but it's grown on me a ton and I loved it. I love Spiritfarer. I played it on the Switch. Absolutely gorgeous game. I have a soft spot in my heart for the Life is Strange series. Especially, I just played the new one, True Colors, and I really didn't go into it with high expectations because I love the first Life is Strange, but I know it's kind of cringy. I didn't love the second one. I didn't love Before the Storm, but I loved the new one. I think True Colors, in terms of writing, in terms of characters, in terms of visuals, was the best of all of them. In terms of older games though, because I have some older favorites too, I am an absolute diehard Sims 2 player. I've played The Sims 3, I've played The Sims 4, I keep pouring money into The Sims 4, but The Sims 2 will always be my go-to, and The Sims on PlayStation 2 I really like, because that's a total nostalgia game for me. I also really love Roller Coaster Tycoon. If you were to add up all the hours I've played of Roller Coaster Tycoon with my brother growing up, and even to this day, it would probably take up months of just straight hours. Donkey Kong 64 on the Nintendo 64, absolute favorite. Diddy Kong Racing on the Nintendo 64, absolute favorite. Absolutely top ones, Last of Us and Spiritfarer are Uncharted. I forgot Uncharted. I love the Uncharted games as well. As you can tell, I really like Naughty Dog. I really like story-driven games. I really like action-adventure games. 2018 God of War was absolutely fantastic. Ben Nickel, I don't know if it's Nickel or Nicole, I'm so sorry, but Ben asks, which Bo Burnham songs are you considering covering, and are there any other artists that you'd like to branch out to in the future? Bo Burnham's Can't Handle This is a great one. because you can make that song about you like a lot of people that perform it do. I am considering covering, obviously All Eyes on Me I want to do. I want to redo Are You Happy? I think I could do it better. I want to do Art Is Dead. I did do a cover of Art Is Dead in like 9th grade and I took it down because it was kind of embarrassing. It wasn't very good. Those are really the 3 I have in mind for now. Oh, and A World on Fire for Tom. Tom keeps asking about A World on Fire, so that's absolutely coming. Those are really the ones I have in mind. Can't Handle This to me feels absolutely untouchable. And I feel like people would have said that about like Welcome to the Internet or Goodbye, or you know, ones I've done from Inside. But I feel like Can't Handle This is so personal to him that I really don't want to touch it, to be honest. I've had a couple people suggest doing Can't Handle This and I wouldn't feel right doing it. I'd feel kind of weird covering it. Are there any other artists though that I'd like to branch out to? I'm really not good at listening to artists. I am such a playlist person. So the only person I'd want to do kind of like be like the cover artist to them is Sarah Bareilles. Not even any of her new stuff, because I really only know her older stuff and then Waitress. I'm so bad at listening to albums. I'm such a playlist person. I'm really not good at being up to date with covers. So, I mean, if you have any ideas, I'd be very happy to hear them. If there's anyone you think that like I would cover their stuff well, please leave comments. I would be super interested to know. I do always like finding new music, but I always find that I like find one song of an artist and then I go listen to their other stuff and I'm like, but I just want to listen to that song. The last question is from someone I knew in high school, so I'm very excited they're here. Chris Patrica. Hello, Chris. Thank you for watching and commenting. Chris says, hey Isabel, glad to see you're bringing this YouTube thing back. Any people you'd be interested in collaborating with? Okay, here's one. She doesn't post on YouTube anymore, but she's active on Instagram, and so I follow her there. But I would love to bring Heather Traska kind of back to YouTube, because she was a huge inspiration for my medleys that I did in high school. Obviously she's like the queen of acapella medleys. I'd love to do something with Heather Traska. I don't even know how I would do these collabs, but I'd love to collab with Momo O'Brien. She's been like a huge obsession of mine lately. She's like a travel YouTuber but focused on immersive experiences. So whether that's, you know, LARPs that she goes to or going to theme parks, and she records like covers for all her videos, like she does the soundtrack for her videos. I think it'd be really cool to do something with her. I also really love Darling Desi. I don't know what I'd do with Darling Desi, but I wish I could just live in her world of fall vibes and aesthetic and cottagecore, and I wish I was friends just with Darling Desi. There's also my friend Bree used to post on YouTube, and we for years always said we would do a collab. It never did, and I sort of wish I could do a collab with her, just like the collab that never was. This is silly. It wouldn't be a collab, but I just want to become friends with Internet Historian. I don't know what we would do. I have no clue. I just want to be friends with Internet Historian. I really should start coming up with how to end these things. This was so much fun to do. I loved seeing your guys' questions, and I want to see, you know, what are some of your answers to these questions? I'm sure there are things I said where you're like, what? And I'm sure there are things where you're like, oh my god, me too. So absolutely comment. Feel free to ask more questions in the comments that I'll write back to. Again, thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. Thank you for the love on my Bo Burnham videos lately. I cannot thank you enough. It's been so much fun. And I hope I keep posting stuff that you like. If you don't, sorry. Thank you for 10,000 subscribers. It's absolutely been a dream come true so far.